about their faith. Are you going to put your faith first, or are you going to put your fear in this this pandemic and all the peer pressure from people who haven't done their own research? But where does the line, you know, where do we draw the line? Where does the buck stop in terms of us taking this personal responsibility to say, I probably have set up my life to feel that I cannot financially survive and support my children if I have to take off and not work and homeschool my children. But you're in a catch-22 because this is your children's life. This is their mindset, and whatever they are being indoctrinated with can affect their lives for the rest of their lives if we're not careful. And so we've got to start thinking about solutions. So whether you are a single parent, whether you're a two-parent home, you've got to make some financial decisions as to how you're going to get this done. If you really feel like enough is enough for you, and you personally feel like you don't want your kids in these schools anymore. And we're not even mentioning, which I didn't go into, all of the mask wearing all day long. Children are passing out because they're so hot and they're not able to breathe, and they're wearing this mask for 8 hours a day. I mean, there's just so many reasons that I could list, but those reasons should be enough to make you want to sit down and say, I've got to get off of autopilot. I've got to get myself into a space where I can figure some things out here. And I wanted to share some of the tips that I've learned along the way of 10 years of homeschooling. The decision that I made, which I wasn't able to make with my now grown children, so they did go to schools, but I have a younger set of children. And I made that decision when my the oldest of the younger set was then 5, or 4-ish actually. And then her sister came 4 years later. But the decision I made was that I was going to work from home, and I was going to find employment from home so that I could also manage their homeschooling. And at the time, I was a divorced single mom. And so I made that my priority, and that was it. And this was 10 years ago. So I also tried small businesses, trying to, just bring in extra income, but I was very clear and determined. And so I found virtual work opportunities, just Googled it. And now, I'm sorry, I keep saying Google it, DuckDuckGo it. But now there are so many opportunities, especially since the pandemic. So many companies who refused to do it before, thought it was just going to be too costly and just too disruptive, didn't trust their employees to get the job done, didn't know how to manage all that. But now these companies were forced to, and they've had to send millions of people home to work. Awaiting for this pandemic to be finished. So now the opportunities are huge in regards to finding at work home. What I'm sitting at right now is my at home desk. I've got a very large workstation. I've got 2 very large monitors. I wear this when I communicate with the customers that I deal with on a day-to-day basis, and I monitor my time. I mean, it's a great experience, but I've literally done this for 10 years, and I've been able to survive this way for that long. Now, if you're 2-parent home, I mean, honestly, um, there's some sacrifices that may need to be made. Maybe you don't need 3 cars. Maybe you don't need 2 cars. Maybe you need to sell one of them and get rid of your debt. Maybe you need to downsize your housing. If you feel like you can't afford the mortgage or the rent with 2 incomes, maybe cut out the eating out and the entertainment. Do things at home with the family. Start selling off some of your stuff. Downgrade your cards, or at least combine your cards with some of these deals out here where you can, transfer your balances to a lower interest rate for a year. You could do that and then just, hammer away at paying those off. You could try to get a settlement on some of your card debt. Not eating out as much, cooking from home. These are all ways in which you can bring your expenses down and focus on family first right now. Because honestly, if you're not willing to do that, then you might not be trustworthy in terms of all the flailing that a lot of us do on the internet when we're mad about Biden, we're mad about this, and we're mad about that, but we're not willing to make changes in our own lives that we can start taking accountability and taking control of the wheel. And so I just wanted